Welcome to the Geography Academy. My name is Brian. I've been teaching geography for 9 years, and these are 6 habits of A-star students. Habit 1, organization. You want to have folders for keeping all your notes together, making sure that each section of the course is all kept together, the past paper questions that you've answered, the mock exam paper questions, and make sure that you have them and that they're accessible. If they're accessible, then you use them. Having things like flashcards and writing all your vocabulary down on flashcards so you can test them later saves a lot of time. So by creating them, you actually have to understand the topic, and then they make for easy and quick revision later down the road. So if you're organized from the beginning, this is actually not that difficult. If you know the course, you can divide out your folders and organize very, very well. At the beginning, try to make different note styles and just see what works for you. So in our courses, we show you all different types of ways of doing that too. Habit 2 is revision timetable. Now, I don't mean your homework timetable, I mean your revision. So you want to be going back over topics every single month that you've already studied and making sure that you're keeping up with all that knowledge. You will forget certain parts of the course, and this is where you're going to find it. And to find it, you have to test yourself. So to do that, you could have something like, for example, your flashcards with vocabulary, and you can run through all the vocabulary again. Maybe try and write out the definitions, and it just has the, on one side it will have the word, and on the other side the definition, and then you can go and check your answers after that. You can also test with other people with things like flashcards. You can open up past paper questions, and you can just write out maybe an essay plan for an essay rather than doing the entire thing, and then you can see where are you missing details. Like, for instance, do you have enough case study information to put in certain paragraphs, and this will lead you down the path to find what you're forgetting or what you can add to what you already know. Habit number 3 is focus. This is really difficult for students. You want to have a consistent space where you can do your work. So if you're doing homework, for instance, you have to be very focused on a task where you might not know everything in the topic and it might be new to you. You might need your resources like books in order to do some research and to add information. So you have to have all the supplies ready. You need to know that you need your notebook. You might use like the internet for your homework, but then when you're doing your revision, you have everything ready. All your notes are there. You don't need any other resources, but you might need a louder environment so you can speak out loud. And you might want to be a little bit more comfortable. So the internet is a major distraction. It's going to break your focus. So very high-end studies have already been completed about this. It's an absolute fact that once you have it close by, it's going to become a distraction. You're going to want to turn to it. So don't have things like a desktop open in front of you. Disconnect your phone, put it in a different room. And just have time without internet where you're focused on your task. You can get more done in 20 minutes without the internet than you can in 60 minutes, but having like a news feed open or your Instagram open on your phone beside you. And most students, they realize this. They know that this is a fact, but it's just so hard to switch off. Habit 4 is interest. So do you have students in your class who are so interested in like maths or biology or geography, and you find that everything comes so easily to them? That's because they enjoy reading about it. That's because they prioritize it in their mind, and that's because they can sit for hours like reading and revising. So if you can find something to get interested in, it might be like landscapes like this. It could be about natural disasters. It could be the animals, the plants, the biomes. It could be the population, the human side of geography. Whatever it is, find an interest, and then the topic becomes much, much more easier, and then you can get a much higher grade. Habit 5 is getting help. Now, this is something you should get used to doing very early on, because after my 9 years of teaching, I found this is the hardest thing for some people to do.
Hey, let's do get help.
What?
Get help.
No.
Come on, you love it.
I hate it.
It's great, it works every time.
It's humiliating.
Do you have a better plan?
No.
We're doing it.
We are not doing get help.
Get help, please!
Even for really good students, but also for weaker students, they don't come looking for help and they don't make big improvements. A-level students yourself or themselves, or say they're like A2 students, so they've gone through the exam and they can tell you a lot about AS geography. Groups, really good. I encourage lots of students to meet up in groups like about once a week and go through topics that we've actually been learning about and to learn about it together, and this really helps. Go to your teacher, the most obvious one. Go to them as much as possible. They're there to work for you and to help you, and I always encourage as much as possible to ask as many good questions as possible. But first, before you do, try and answer the question yourself. Show the teacher that you've put some time into it, and what you'll find is the teacher will respond really well to that, and they'll help you quite a lot. Then finally, I would encourage you to go over to the Geography Academy, because that's what we do. We're trying to get A stars for all of our students that come on there, and there's lots of different ways that we can help you there. This might seem obvious, but we want to perfect a lot of elements of the course. So essay writing, for instance, is one of the most difficult areas for students to get full marks, and it's quite frustrating. It takes a long time to build the necessary skills and knowledge and put them together, and then you're talking about a new title coming up in the exam that you have to be prepared to be able to create a new essay that you haven't written before. You get your result back, it's a C. Some students are deflated, they take that C, they make some improvements, but they'll move on. They say, okay, I'll try the next one and we'll see how we do in the next one. The next essay comes, they might improve slightly, maybe like a C+, and it just moves up gradually like that. What I would encourage is that you take those first essays, those first questions that you've done, and you keep going back and keep rewriting and keep adjusting. It's okay to be persistent. Go to your teacher, keep handing them in the same essay until it is perfect. That's what you have to do. And after you've perfected it the first couple of times, then you'll know how to do it the next time much, much better. That's what we do in our exam mastery course. You work one-on-one with a teacher until you have perfected certain questions. Then you should understand the kind of formula to perfecting everything. That's it. That's our 6 habits of A-star students that I've seen over the past 9 years. I hope you guys can take that on board. As well, it's really useful for lots of different subjects too. And come on over to the Geography Academy and get some help if you need it.